What if the pill bottle sitting on your nightstand right now, the one you've taken every single night for the past 5 years, is quietly working against your brain? I'm not talking about a sketchy supplement. I'm talking about medications that are sitting in tens of millions of American medicine cabinets right now. Allergy pills, sleep aids, bladder medications, drugs your own doctor may have prescribed with good intentions. Researchers at the University of Washington followed thousands of older adults for 10 years and found something that should make every senior pay attention. Those taking the highest cumulative doses of certain common medications had a 54% higher risk of developing dementia. Not a typo. 54%. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which medication categories the research has flagged, what the actual science says, not internet rumors, and the one thing you should do before you change anything about your medications. Hello, I'm Dr. Mason, and welcome back to the channel. Before we go any further, I want to say something clearly because this topic gets sensationalized constantly online. I am not telling you to stop any medication today. I am not a substitute for your physician. What I am going to do is walk you through real, peer-reviewed research published in journals like JAMA Internal Medicine, BMJ, and reviewed by institutions like Harvard Medical School and the National Institute on Aging, so that you can have an informed conversation with your own doctor or pharmacist. Knowledge is protection. Panic is not. Let's get into it. Let's talk about anticholinergic medications first. This is the category with the strongest and most consistent research behind it, so we're starting here. Anticholinergic drugs work by blocking a brain chemical called acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that's essential for memory and learning. The problem is, acetylcholine is also the exact chemical that's already depleted in people with Alzheimer's disease. In 2015, researcher Shelley Gray and her team at the University of Washington published a landmark study in JAMA Internal Medicine. They followed 3,434 older adults with no signs of dementia at the start. Over 10 years, 78% of participants had been prescribed an anticholinergic drug at least once. For those with the highest cumulative use, the risk of developing dementia was 54% higher than non-users, and the risk of Alzheimer's specifically was 63% higher. Then, in 2019, a much larger study, led by Carol Copeland and published again in JAMA Internal Medicine, looked at nearly 59,000 dementia patients in the UK and compared them to over 225,000 matched controls without dementia. The findings? Significantly higher dementia risk linked to anticholinergic antidepressants, antipsychotics, Parkinson's medications, bladder medications, and anti-epileptic drugs. So what falls into this category? Let me give you concrete examples. Older sleep aids and allergy medications containing diphenhydramine, that's the active ingredient in Benadryl and many over-the-counter PM sleep products, certain bladder control medications prescribed for overactive bladder, some older generation antidepressants called tricyclics, and certain medications for muscle spasms. Here's the important nuance. Not all anticholinergic exposure is equal. A single dose of Benadryl for a one-time allergic reaction is very different from taking it nightly as a sleep aid for years. It's the cumulative, long-term, high-dose use that the research consistently flags, not occasional use. Now let's know about benzodiazepines. Next, let's talk about benzodiazepines, medications like Xanax, Valium, and Ativan, commonly prescribed for anxiety and sleep problems. A widely cited 2014 study published in the BMJ, led by Sophie Biliotti-Degage, followed older adults in Quebec, Canada. The findings showed that people who had used benzodiazepines in the past had a 43 to 51% higher risk of being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease compared to those who never used them. Critically, the risk increased with how long the medication was used. People who took a benzodiazepine for 3 months or less showed roughly the same risk as people who never took one at all. But use for 3 to 6 months raised Alzheimer's risk by 32%, and use beyond 6 months raised it by 84%. Harvard Health Publishing, reviewing this same research, noted that experts had long assumed people's minds would clear up once they stopped the medication. But this study raised the possibility that long-term use may leave a lasting mark. Now, I have to be fair and balanced here, because this is genuine science, not a headline. Other large studies, including a 2022 study of over 500,000 U.S. veterans, found a much smaller, less consistent link, especially once researchers controlled for other medications. So this is an area of real, ongoing scientific debate. It is not settled the way some channels make it sound. Let me tell you about proton pump inhibitors. This one surprises a lot of people. Proton pump inhibitors, drugs like omeprazole and esomeprazole, commonly used for acid reflux and heartburn, have been studied for a possible dementia connection. A 2016 German study published in JAMA Neurology raised concern about a link. But here's where I need you to really listen. More recent and more rigorous research has pushed back hard on that finding. A large prospective cohort study published in Gastroenterology in 2023 and another major study using the Atherosclerosis Risk in Communities database both found no meaningful association between PPI use and dementia risk, even with years of cumulative use. So this is genuinely a mixed picture in the scientific literature. I'm including it not to scare you, but because you deserve the full, honest picture, including the studies that walked back earlier concerns. Research has also flagged sleep aids and allergy pills, even the ones you don't think of as real medication. Number 3. Ask specifically. Is anything I'm taking on the Beers criteria list? This is a list maintained by the American Geriatric Society that flags medications considered higher risk for older adults. Your pharmacist will know exactly what this means. Number 4. If you've been using something like Benadryl or a PM sleep aid nightly for months or years, that is genuinely worth a conversation with your doctor about safer, long-term alternatives for sleep. The goal of today's video isn't to frighten you away from medicine you may genuinely need. It's to make sure you're an informed partner in your own healthcare, not someone making decisions out of fear from a video, including this one. If this information was helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with a parent, a spouse, or a friend who might be taking one of these medications without knowing the research behind it. To varying degrees, certain antipsychotic medications, particularly when used long-term in older adults without a clear psychiatric diagnosis, some anti-epileptic and anti-Parkinson's drugs, which often have anticholinergic properties, and certain older muscle relaxants and bladder medications already mentioned above. What this means for you. The action plan. So here's what I genuinely want you to do, and this is the most important part of this entire video. Number 1, do not stop any medication on your own after watching this video. Stopping certain medications, especially benzodiazepines, blood pressure drugs, or psychiatric medications, abruptly can be dangerous, even life-threatening, without medical supervision. Number 2, schedule what's called a medication review with your doctor or pharmacist. Many pharmacies offer this as a free service. Bring every single bottle, including over-the-counter sleep aids and allergy pills, even the ones you don't think of as real medication. Number 3. Ask specifically. Is anything I'm taking on the Beers criteria list? This is a list maintained by the American Geriatric Society that flags medications considered higher risk for older adults. Your pharmacist will know exactly what this means. Number 4. If you've been using something like Benadryl or a PM sleep aid nightly for months or years, that is genuinely worth a conversation with your doctor about safer, long-term alternatives for sleep. The goal of today's video isn't to frighten you away from medicine you may genuinely need. It's to make sure you're an informed partner in your own healthcare, not someone making decisions out of fear from a video, including this one. If this information was helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with a parent, a spouse, or a friend who might be taking one of these medications without knowing the research behind it. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into senior health. Take care of yourselves, talk to your doctor, and I'll see you in the next video.